This is infrared sensor footage showing areas of contrast tracked by a platform-mounted sensor as it pans and varies its zoom. Early in the clip, the sensor moves smoothly to center an area of contrast, then briefly zooms in before pulling back and panning again. Moments later, a second area of contrast appears from the upper left, and both features remain in view for several seconds while the sensor follows their tracks. The camera continues to pan and adjust zoom, and at one point the platform follows the newer contact so that the first feature leaves the frame toward the bottom. For long stretches, the operator cycles zoom and continues panning without a distinct, persistent target in view. At another point, the tracked contrast grows less distinct against the background and then fades from clear view, while the remainder of the clip alternates panning and zoom adjustments with no sustained object visible. The uploader gave the clip the title quote, October 29th, 2020 CALLSIGN mission observes 3 fast-moving UAPs, but the imagery in this file shows up to 2 separate areas of contrast and long periods of sensor movement without an obvious target. On March 6th, 2026, 8 members of the United States House of Representatives requested access to 51 potentially UAP-related records allegedly held by the Department of War and the intelligence community. In response, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office identified a collection of responsive materials that were held on a classified network and flagged this video as part of that collection. AARO assessed that the clip is likely derived from an infrared sensor aboard a United States military platform operating within the CENTCOM area of responsibility in October 2020, and records indicate a user uploaded the video to a classified network that month. The archived copy of the file and many of the associated items do not have a substantiated chain of custody, a limitation the office highlighted in its notes. That uncertainty affects how the footage is treated for analysis and for public review. Technically, the recording is notable for being sensor imagery rather than visible light video, so contrast and apparent motion are dictated by heat signature and the sensor angle as much as by an object moving independently. Operationally, it is part of a larger set of materials identified during a congressionally prompted review of potentially anomalous encounters. This single clip does not by itself establish the origin or nature of the features shown, but it helps document how infrared platforms detected and tracked areas of contrast in this region during October 2020. For the full case file, related footage, and additional sighting reports along with our weekly UAP News podcast, visit UAPDrop.com.